I found myself spending maybe 5 or 6 hours a day on my phone and struggling to find time to spend with God. That was the point at which I knew something really had to change. Lately, I've been asking myself some questions, such as, what if the recent mental health epidemic is somehow linked to our social media addiction, our all too busy lives, and our total inability to take rest? What if a Sabbath rest is the only way we can find that elusive work-life balance? And what if our yearning for peace, personified in the words of Psalm 23, where it says, "He leads me beside still waters, He restores my soul," aren't just a promise for the future, but something He wants to give us now? What if He's already given us the blueprint for living in a way that we can experience those green pastures and still waters every week? In this video series, you'll discover everything I've learned about trying to incorporate a Sabbath rest into my life. If that sounds interesting to you, click subscribe below to be notified of future videos. It can be hard to find time to stop and rest. Everyone seems so busy rushing from this thing to that thing, never having time to actually stop and appreciate the precious moments in their lives. I found myself spending maybe 5 or 6 hours a day on my phone and struggling to find time to spend with God. That was the point at which I knew something really had to change. At the beginning of this year, I did a video that talked about starting the new year with God and what my goals were. One of the goals I identified was really needing more moments of peace and stillness in my life. And when I started to think about what that might look like, there was one idea that just came to the forefront of my mind: Shabbat. 5 years ago, I had the incredible privilege of sharing a Shabbat meal, that's a Jewish Sabbath meal, with a Jewish family in the city of Jerusalem. And it was incredibly special, and ever since that time I've really wanted to know more of that sense of peace and stillness that they seem to embody in my own life. It seems pretty strange to me that Shabbat is such a bedrock of Jewish life, but for some reason it's little heard of in Christian circles. I started my journey with the words of Jesus, which say, "The Sabbath is made for man, not man for the Sabbath." And it occurred to me that if there was a whole day made for man, I'd be really interested to see how that could benefit me and how it might benefit others too. In the Jewish tradition, Sabbath starts just before sunset on a Friday and ends at sunset on a Saturday. It's a time for ceasing from the normal, for rest and reflection, and for worship. There's often a family meal on the Friday night with prayers and songs that accompany it. It's a time to worship, focus on God and creation, but primarily it's a time to stop and rest. The tradition of the Jewish Shabbat has been tried and tested over hundreds of years, so I decided to use the Jewish Shabbat as the model for my own times of rest, my own Sabbath experiment. In the next video, you'll get to see what my Sabbath rest time looks like. If that sounds interesting to you, please click like and subscribe below. Thanks so much for watching.